Morning, guys. Welcome to the current affairs session, where I'll be discussing all of the important topics that are necessary for UPSC. Right, and yeah, today we are discussing 16th June's paper. Right. Firstly, we have US and Iran reach agreement to end war, reopen Hormuz. While India was actually very involved in making E100 and E85, USA and Iran have settled the dispute and are now back on track. What about India? See, that is the thing that we need to keep in mind whenever these kind of things are happening. We launched E100 or E85 very hastily. That we do not even have vehicles that are capable of maintaining E85, right? And the ministers are what are they doing? They're signing agreements with many car companies saying that we are launching E100 and E85. But then again, what you need to understand is that do we have the amount of production capability for E100 for a whole country of nearly 1.6 billion people? Can we launch it overnight everywhere? Is it good to launch E100 or E85 now? What about the petroleum reserves that are actually already there? Right? And what about the agreements that we've already signed? How are we going to phase out everything? These are the things that we need to keep in mind when any global event is happening. And India should do something that is not hasty in nature. Many people were actually worried when E100 and E85 came into existence. I thought actually when someone, one of my friends sent me that there is E85 uh, being rolled out. I told him that it is a fake news because obviously why would India roll out E85 when none of the vehicles are capable of E85? But then I actually saw the news and it is actually true. And this is the panic that a country should not put on the citizens, right? Converting E100 and E85 overnight. How will the bikes be converted into E100 right now? And what about the penalty that they're going to get for E100 and E85? And what is the mileage that they're going to get? What is the research that has been happened? Right? Nothing has been done. People are Government has only done this because one, it does not have any strategic reserves. Two, it has been affected by the global events and is just not ready to accept or is not ready to do something else that can actually ensure that this particular event is taken care of. Instead of doing all of these, India decided to roll out E100 and E85. So I think India has to think again, or the government has to think again on what kind of actions that it has to take before causing a panic among people, right? So yeah, they got into agreement and reopened Hormuz Strait. But then again, it also tells us how vulnerable we are to global events, and we need to do things right. As I told you in many of my current affairs classes, I told you that we need to diversify things, right? Just not the installed capacity. We should also look at the actual capacity, right? We should also look at the actual capacity, and then we should also ensure that we are having different uh, agreements with the different countries like UAE, then Uganda and Gabon and Russia, right? These countries you can actually have an agreement with so that you can ensure that there is no disruption in the petroleum reserves when we are transitioning. So we are actually transitioning, right? We cannot transition overnight. Just because the government has announced E85 and E100, that doesn't mean that we have completely transition. And many people obviously wouldn't use E100 and E85 because the amount of mileage that that particular E100 or E85 gives is low, and obviously petrol's, that particular vehicle's capability is also in lines with E100 or E85. So these are the things that we actually have to keep in mind. And so yeah, let's go to the first editorial that we have. This editorial is talking about technology drive technology drives India France strategic convergence. So it is basically talking about how the India and France relationship is mainly technology driven, right? And the first thing that this particular editorial is talking about is how what are the kinds of technologies that India and France have. First thing is defense. Obviously, You know that there are many jets, fighter jets, and many weapons that are being brought from France, right? If you remember, Rafale is the jet that is being brought from France, right? Other than that, you have space cooperation. Space cooperation is another area where India and France actually have good ties with. And in the third aspect, you have and nuclear energy, civil nuclear energy. Civil nuclear energy is something that is used for generation of energy for power generation, not for any nuclear capability or creating nuclear weapons. So that is called civil nuclear energy. What is civil nuclear energy? It is nothing but nuclear energy used for power generation of that particular country and not for any uh, what do you call weapons or destruction. Okay, that is the three aspects. But now this article is saying that apart from these three, there is a fourth pillar. Right, this fourth pillar is ensuring that our ties with France are deepening in nature. What is that fourth pillar? That fourth pillar is nothing but artificial intelligence. It's saying that India and France have made such a ties that we are in three pillars. One is defense, one is space cooperation, and one is civil nuclear energy. And the fourth pillar that has come into existence is the artificial intelligence. Right now, artificial intelligence has come into existence, but there are some things that which actually we have to keep in mind. Right, the thing is that while we have high amount of defense cooperation and space cooperation, we should also focus more on small energy reactors, right? Small modular reactors, and you can also include space flights where we are actually taking humans into the space or into the moon. So we can use France in these kind of capabilities. Other than that, basically, it's talking about Africa. In this particular editorial, it has mentioned about Africa. The reason they have mentioned about Africa is because Africa is a colonial country of France. France has colonized many countries of Africa for many years. So they have more ties with Africa. And we have less ties with Africa because we were being colonized by the British. So we do not have anything common. The only thing that is common between uh, India and Africa is that we both were colonized by French and the British. So in this particular article, it's saying that as France has colonized Africa for a longer time, there is high amount of ties between France and Africa. So we can use this diplomatic tie to ensure that we are getting some gain. We can because Africa, if you actually see, many countries are rich in many things, right? And utilizing these things would actually benefit us. So that is what it's saying. Using France as a method or a France as an arm to connect to Africa, right? To connect to Africa. This is Africa, this is India, and this is France. France talks to Africa, Africa talks to India. This is how everything happens. That is what this particular editorial is saying. It's saying that France has deepened its ties in with India in many ways, including defense, including space cooperation, including nuclear energy, and now it's also going into air technology. Now we can also use what? We can use Africa. Africa, how can we use Africa? Africa we can use by getting the ties that France has. Now, this particular editorial is also talking about the debate of G D10. D10 is nothing but the Democratic 10. Democratic 10. Democratic 10's main ideology is the what you call uh, propaganda or a grouping of 10 democracies. It's talking about 10 democracies. What are the 10 democracies? Firstly, you have Canada, USA, UK, Italy, Germany. Then you have France. One, two, three, four, five, six. Then you have Japan. Right now, this is nothing but G7. G7. Now, D10 is nothing but G7 plus three countries. What are the three countries? The three countries are India, Australia, and South Korea. These are the other three countries which are actually part of D10. Now, this D10 would help ensure that our political and ideologies are also on the same nature and same line and ensure that we are developing on a broader manner. So that is the thing that this particular editorial is talking about. It's talking about one, how there are four pillars, two, how we can connect with Africa, and three, how we can actually have a D10, right, democratic 10, which would ensure that there is more longer connection and broader connection with many countries like Japan, Italy, France, and Australia and South Korea. These are the countries that it is also actually talking about, right? You can use this in obviously GS2 and mainly international relations, right? Then you have politics, pragmatism, no preventive detention, right? This particular article is talking about preventive detention, how there was this particular case called Chandrapal Singh case, right? Chandrapal Singh was a Dalit lawyer, right, who was also physically challenged. Sort of thing. He was a physically challenged person. He was a Dalit lawyer, right, and he was actually involved in some physical assault. As he was involved in physical assault, the police actually detained this person, saying that this person might be harmful for that particular society. So basically, what did they do? They detained him to prevent something. So that is nothing but preventive detention. But the High Court is saying that you cannot do or do the preventive detention as you like. Preventive detention, there is something called procedure. There is something called evidence. Until and unless you give an evidence, and until and unless you say that this particular person is actually a threat to that particular society, you cannot uh, detain them. But in this particular case, it has shown that how many officials are detaining people just because they think that uh, they are they are a threat. So that is the problem with preventive detention. They are choosing convenience. Right? They are choosing convenience over facts. Just because, for example, let's say some person has hit a person, and there's no evidence to prove that X person has hit the Y person. But what they can do, they have someone saying that they hit them, so they can use that particular fact, saying that uh, they might hit or they are getting hit, these kind of facts, then they can detain them preventively. So that is the misuse of preventive detention. Okay, this preventive detention is the only thing. I mean, India is the only country that has preventive detention in fundamental rights. No other country has preventive detention in fundamental rights. But then again, I understand why preventive detention is part of India's fundamental rights. Because why? Because it doesn't want constitutional breakdown. The main reason India has what you call preventive detention as part of fundamental rights is because of constitutional breakdown. India wants to be prepared in every situation. As if it wants to be prepared in every situation, it has to look at every aspect. Right. That is the reason we also have martial law. Right. Martial law is there, and you have emergency provisions. We also have preventive detention. Why do we have all of these? The reason we all have all of these is because we should be ready in every case whenever there is a constitutional breakdown. But there's also this thing that you need to remember, that these are the things that you take place or do things when there is constitutional breakdown, right? Only when there is constitutional breakdown you utilize these kind of things. But when there is no constitutional breakdown, why are you using these things? That means that there is high amount of leeway, or there are less stringent laws for the officials saying that you can use this. So that is why the officials are using it. Otherwise, officials wouldn't have used it. Let's say for an ex person, ex official is there. They say that if you're detaining someone on a prevention basis, then you have to prove it that this particular person is a threat to the society. And if you do not prove it, you will be accountable and you will be suspended. Let's say if there was something like that, would that person be detaining every person who has come into his way? No. So what does that mean? That exactly says that there are no particular laws, or there are no particular what you call framework saying that this particular preventive detention is unlawful. Who says that? It is the High Court. So that is why this case has come into existence. After the Chandrapal Singh case has come into existence, the High Court saw that many people are being detained based on preventive basis, saying that this is the reason why this particular person has been detained preventively, as he or she is a threat to that particular society. Now, the High Court has saw that and is saying that you cannot use this, you cannot misuse this, because we have Article 21. What is Article 21? Article 21 talks about right to liberty. It's saying that no person can be deprived of liberty, and everything should be based on procedure established by law. Without following a procedure established by law, you cannot detain a person based on preventive basis. So that is what this particular editorial is saying. Yeah, it's saying that without any preventive basis or without any actual cause, you cannot do things. So the court has given some directions, right? It has given some key directions. has given some key directions to the courts, I mean the officials, saying that whenever uh, there is a person who is being detained preventively, there needs to be a strong justification. Strong justification is first point that the High Court has said. It is obviously seen that many people are being detained preventively based on arbitrary means. Right? Based on arbitrary means, they are being detained. So High Court has said that no, this should not be done because everyone has right, and we are there to protect fundamental rights. So that is why it says that firstly, strong justification of cause is the first reason. Second one is reducing the misuse in personal disputes, reducing the misuse of preventive detention in personal disputes. As I was saying, just because X person hit Y person doesn't mean that X person and Y person actually very hostile. What might have happened is because X person might have known that particular official, so they say that this particular person is hitting me, so I think you have to do something. So the official, what will he do? As a person who actually has high connections, what will he do? He'll arrest that person based on preventive basis. So that is the other thing that has happened. So the High Court has said that you should reduce the misuse of preventive detention on personal disputes. Second one is that there needs to be high amount of judicial and appellate scrutiny. And judicial and appellate scrutiny, meaning that whenever a person is detained based on preventive detention, there should be uh, what you call appellate and judicial scrutiny. But what you need to understand is that if the preventive detention is court mandated, then there is no problem. Second thing is that the preventive detention part is only applicable for civil. All the protections that are given are only for civil cases, not for criminal cases. This is the other thing that you actually have to keep in mind. Okay, so the fourth thing is that, as I was saying, if they had some kind of accountability or some kind of punishment, right? So that would be a problem. Now, High Court has said that we need to compensate. Compensation is a point under which, for example, if X person is being detained arbitrarily based on preventive basis, then that person can prove that this particular reason that they've detained is arbitrary in nature and then get compensated for it. So there is accountability also. So these are the four things that this particular editorial is saying. But then again, it also looks at how and why what do you call the administrators or the government is very hesitant. Firstly, the reason why government is hesitant is because obviously it is government officials. It's government officials who are being what do you call who are detaining people. Then what does that mean? It means that government is actually not doing something or not doing anything. That way, it is government accepting a fault. Obviously, government will not accept a fault. If you are actually seen all the news, you have you'll never come across a point where government is accepting a fault. It will do something to divert away from the fault, but it will not accept the fault. No government will actually do, because if governments start accepting faults, what will happen? People will start losing trust. So in order to maintain the highest amount of trust factor, they are not accepting faults. So obviously, whenever the government officials are doing something, there's no government accepting faults. Second one is structural incentives. Structural incentives. What are structural incentives? Like, for example, let's say all the officials are there. All the officials have to be very strict. Officials have to be very, what you call, intelligent, and they have to be ahead. Only when they are intelligent in their ahead, or when they do things calculatively, only then they'll get promotions. If they are detaining a particular person preventively, saying that this particular person is a threat to the society, then for according to them it is good. Let's say if they did not think that and they actually left that person, and that person actually has caused threat to the particular society, then what will happen? Who will be blamed? The particular official will be blamed. They would say that if you actually believe that that person is a threat to the society, then why didn't you detain him? Right. So it is even in this aspect why the officials are being hesitant, or are actually what you call detaining all the people preventively based on whether that particular is a threat to the society or not. So these are the things that what this particular editorial is talking about. You can use this particular editorial in governance aspect in GS2 and in polity, and you can use it also in GS4 when it comes to ethics. These are the things that you can actually focus on. It. Then you have how Tamil Nadu severed religion or caste from politics. And it's talking about how Tamil Nadu has diverted away from religion and politics, because if you actually see the chronology of the amount of chief ministers that have been elected by the Tamil Nadu citizens, it says that they have not been elected based on only based on caste or religion or nationality. I'm sorry, nationality. I mean, the particular regional. Okay, so they have been elected from multifold. If you actually see, there are many what do you call uh, chief ministers. There is Anadurai. Anadurai is there. Then there is Jayalalitha. Then there is Vijay. Then there is Karunanidhi. All of these people are from various backgrounds, various religions, various castes, right? When all of these are happening, why is it happening? So for that, it has started by saying that the Tamil Nadu's political scenario or political scope has been started from what do you call movements like welfare movements or social movements or uh, reform movements. These are the movements which have been a background or a base for Tamil Nadu political scope. Okay. So, firstly, if you remember, there is this party called Justice Party. Justice Party was formed in the year 1916. Basically, Justice Party was formed as a party which was against Brahmin elites. So, Justice Party was formed by people who were non-Brahmin elites. They were challenging reservation. These are the things that they actually had in mind, and then came what do you call E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. Right? Even E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar is another political leader who actually uh, fought for self-respect. Like, there was a movement called self-respect movement. Who was part of it? E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar was part of it. Right? As Justice Party came, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar came. This started with what? They started with welfare movements, self-respect movements. These are the things that actually based or formed a ground for Tamil Nadu politics. After that, then there are many what do you call welfare policies that were being brought. What are the welfare policies that were being brought? If you actually remember, there is what do you call Anadurai, right? Anadurai was there, through which there was rise of DMK, right? Opposition for what do you call E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar's Dravida Kazagam party, right? These are the things. And other than that, you have social welfare and inclusive policies, right? Kamarajar, right? Kamaraj plan where it talked about education and bringing in more educational institutions, right? And then you have um, equality villages. Yeah, this person called Karunanidhi. Right? Karunanidhi has brought in this thing called equality villages, and Ramchandar, he actually brought in midday meal scheme. Right, midday meal scheme was another part of Ramachandra's initiative, right? And you have economic development mainly based on what you call Stalin, Jayalalitha, and what you call Karunanidhi. What did they do? They increased development, right? FDI, right, and industries, right? All of these things that they focused on. If you actually see, all of these political leaders have focused more on other aspects rather than based on caste religion. Right, they focus. If you actually see, the DMK was their education. They focused on equality villages. What does that mean? That shows that their ideology of political mindset is not based on caste or religion. It is based on equality and promotion of people's welfare. These are the things that they focused on. As they focus on that, many people believe that the person who actually does good to the particular state and does good to the people is the person we are going to choose. That is why they are choosing very wisely. This is the basis. This should be the basis for all the states, because many states are focusing based on caste or based on region or based on religion. Right? When you do all of these, what will happen is obviously the political leaders will try to take the advantage. They'll only bring in people who the majority of the population will support. Let's say there is an X caste, okay, and the majority of the people are supporting X caste. So what will that particular political party do? They'll only bring or keep leaders who are from that particular X caste. Now, what is it doing? Is it equality? It's not equality. It is dividing people. It is dividing the people who are from X or Y or Z caste to from X caste. So a particular state should be based on what? Development, welfare, right? And progress. These are the things that a particular state has to be focused on. We can use Tamil Nadu as a what do you call example state for a political landscape. Right? If you actually see, there is Vijay, who's an actor. Right? Vijay, who's an actor. Then Karunanidhi, he's a screenwriter. Jayalalitha is an actor. Right? Ramchandran, he's an actor. Why are they? Why are they actors? They are actors. Now, why is the particular Tamil Nadu politics focusing more on acting? Because the movie is actually influenced. The movie is actually influenced how the cinemascape has ensured people are supporting the political landscape. In movies, they actually show how the political leaders should be, how the political leaders do things. This has influenced the people. And as the political leaders or the actors who are coming to politics were very high in nature. For example, let's say Vijay is there, Jayalalitha is there. All of these people have very high popularity and high following when it comes to the cinema field. They have influenced people in multifolds. And when they came to politics, they actually believed that this person might do right to people. And if you actually see Vijay is now doing right, what is he doing? He's actually talking about things. Then you have similarly have what you call Bihar politics. If you have Andhra politics, many people are actually coming into the politics. What does it say? It says that movie field is actually something that is influencing people, and that way it is also creating or carving the political landscape in Tamil Nadu and many other states. So that is the thing this particular editor is talking about. It's saying that how we need to keep away religion and caste from politics. But does that mean that the Tamil Nadu politics is nothing based on caste? No. Majorly, see, if there is 100%, 90% is not based on caste and religion. 90% is not based on caste and religion. It is based on welfare. It is based on people. It is based on people who are not corrupt. It is based on people who are actually thinking of progress. It is based on people who are actually thinking about citizens. Right? These are the things that this particular 90% is thinking about. But the rest 10% is thinking about religion and caste. Obviously, caste is in the air of India. No matter which religion you come to, it will convert into caste and it will turn something into it and it will actually breed what you call separation. So these are the things that are actually happening in India. But as we have to take something as what you call an example state or a winning state, we can take Tamil Nadu as an example state for when it comes to elections which are not based on religion or caste. Right? You can use this in society, you can use it in governance, and you can use it in polity, and you can use it in ethics. These are the things where you can use this particular editorial, right? That is all for today's current affairs class. Right? Hope you guys have learned a lot. See you guys in next class. Thank you.